In a landslide victory, Prime Minister Perry Christie was re-elected to lead the governing Progressive Liberal Party. An F&M MP says he's done with the party and its leader, and new job stats created over the last 5 years were revealed. We've got those stories and others. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. Central and South Africa MP Edison Key, who is one of the Rebel's 7 opposition members, said he's done with the F&M and its leader, Dr. Hubert Minnis.
On Tuesday night, Mr. Key also praised the governing Progressive Liberal Party as an organization with a strong base that seemed to be doing good things. Despite his presence at the PLP's first night of convention, which he described as something I've never seen in the F&M, the MP said this should not be seen as something bad because he was still in support of official opposition leader Loretta Butler Turner. He insisted that his attendance there simply meant he was a concerned Bahamian. However, in an interview with the Tribune at the close of the event, Mr. Key said his ties with the F&M were cut loose for as long as F&M leader Dr. Hubert Minnis was leading the party. Earlier in the night, when Prime Minister Perry Christie made his grand entrance, Mr. Key, who was in the front row, was one of the first people to be embraced by the nation's leader. When he was asked to comment on Mr. Key's attendance, adding that he had not rejoined the PLP, Mr. Christie said, quote, "When I heard he was here, I was pleasantly surprised because he did indicate, who knows, I may show up at your convention," end quote. Moments ahead of the 52nd convention of the PLP, Mr. Key was welcomed by party supporters gathered at the Malia Nassau Beach Hotel's convention center. The government's revamped mortgage relief program has assisted 350 Bahamian homeowners since it was reintroduced, Prime Minister Perry Christie revealed on Monday. With less than 5 months until the next general election, Mr. Christie said this facet of the government's mortgage program reduced the homeowners' monthly payments by 25%, making them now affordable where they were once unmanageable. He called this a significant turnaround from the failings of the government's first attempt at mortgage relief. Assisting struggling homeowners was one of the Christie administration's campaign promises ahead of the 2012 general election. It was implemented early in this term. However, the program underperformed, leading Mr. Christie to admit in 2013 that only 4 or 5 homeowners were expected to receive assistance. Mr. Christie gave the update during the keynote address at the 26th annual Bahamas Business Outlook on Monday. He said, quote, "The government, in a collaborative effort with the Clearing Banks Association, has launched a multifaceted mortgage relief program. One facet is an affordability program, which today has assisted over 350 Bahamians in reducing their monthly payments to make their homes, which are previously unaffordable, affordable through a reduction of monthly payments of 25%.
The government's new job creation report made by Prime Minister Perry Christie this week has triggered backlash from some Bahamians.
Prime Minister Perry Christie declared on Sunday that his administration has created nearly 32,000 jobs this term. Mr. Christie said the figure was supported by data released from the Department of Statistics and evidence that the country was on a path to recovery, notwithstanding the devastation wrought by 2 major hurricanes. He made the statement during a speech to supporters at a prayer breakfast at the Malia Hotel to mark the start of the Progressive Liberal Party's 52nd National General Convention. Mr. Christie said, quote, "No matter what they say about the Progressive Liberal Party, let the statistics put out there by the Department of Statistics speak for us. We have created, since we came to power, notwithstanding the challenges of this economy, over 31,000 jobs. Nearly 32,000 jobs and counting. We did not count the 1,500 that will be hired between January and February, right in this complex here. And by December, we'll be up to 3,000. We're not counting them, but they will be counted," he said, referring to the anticipated hiring from the Bahama Resorts plant opening in April. He continued, quote, "So this country has every indication before them that we are on a path to recovery as a country, and notwithstanding Hurricanes Joaquin and Matthew, we have been able to, by the grace of God, begin our recovery from the devastation of those hurricanes," end quote. According to official figures released by the Department of Statistics, the number of employed persons grew from 160,650 in May 2012 to 192,385 in October 2016. The last time the labor force survey was carried out, representing an increase of 31,735 employed persons. The last labor force survey released last month also indicated the unemployment rate between October 24th to 30th, 2016 was 11.6%, a 1.1% decline from the last review in May of that year. Former Attorney General Alfred Sears QC on Wednesday said he expected to win the Progressive Liberal Party's leadership contest, but would ultimately bow to the Democratic will of the party, adding that he trusted delegates despite entering an imperfect process. While many felt that all bets were off concerning his chances at beating Prime Minister Perry Christie, PLP delegates and supporters heralded the Fort Charlotte candidate's platform and challenge. Following his nomination for the leadership post on Wednesday, Mr. Sayers told reporters that he felt privileged to stand as an official candidate for the leadership position and reaffirmed his commitment to transformative servant leadership based on the core values of the party. He said, quote, "I trust the delegates of the Progressive Liberal Party to make a decision in the full glare of the Bahamian public that is in the best interest of this organization and in the best interest of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Whatever the outcome, I will bow to the democratic will of this organization, and I do expect to win." He continued, "I entered this contest knowing that I was entering an imperfect process, but I entered it because as a leader of this organization, I will ensure that transparency and fairness are consistent with democratic processes the world over," end quote. Mr. Sears spoke to the press following the nomination process at the party's 52nd National Convention at the Melia Hotel.
Prime Minister Perry Christie was this week re-elected to lead the Progressive Liberal Party after delegates voted overwhelmingly to keep him as PLP chief.
Thousands of Progressive Liberal Party supporters on Thursday night erupted into thunderous cheers and danced in celebration of the re-election of incumbent party leader Prime Minister Perry Christie in a landslide victory over former Attorney General Alfred Sirleaf in a leadership race that seemed to be over before it began. Stalwart councillors voted overwhelmingly in favor of Mr. Christie, who received 1,264 votes to a meager 169 ballots cast in support of challenger Mr. Sears. Supporters stood on chairs and sang to R. Kelly's "Storm Is Over" and "Sound of a Victory" as Mr. Christie made his way into the convention hall with a massive entourage, including Bahamar executive Robert Sandy Sands. His journey from the entrance to the front of the room was labored as PLPs, some of whom shouted "One Leader," crowded the pathway to greet their newly re-elected leader. And when he finally made it to the stage, Mr. Christie thanked delegates for their vote of confidence in him. Mr. Christie said the country is in need of leadership, urging Bahamians to hold leaders accountable for a plan of a future that they can trust. And in a move to show that he had shored up support from former members of the Free National Movement, as Mr. Christie wrapped up his victory speech, former F&M cabinet ministers Algernon Allen and Byron Woodside, as well as former party members Yvonne Ingram, Lester Turnquest, and Anthony Miller, took to the stage to pledge their support for the Prime Minister, at one point describing him as the greatest leader that the country has ever seen. An energetic Prime Minister said, quote, "I'm a very happy man this evening. There are some things you see in life that you can always count on to lift your heart up. The praises of family gathered around you, the excited faces of youngsters playing outside, and the joyful, hopeful faces of a room filled with PLPs." He continued, "I need not tell you how my heart is so full as I stand before you this evening. I feel your love, and I hope you feel mine too. I feel so humbled by the overwhelming vote of confidence that you have given me," end quote.
Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network, send us a tweet at Tribune242, or subscribe to our YouTube page, Tribune242.